The evening air was warm, heavy with the faint scent of jasmine drifting through the open windows of the seaside resort. Maya walked through the lobby, her heels clicking softly against the marble floor, her silk dress brushing against her legs like a whisper. She had come for a short business retreat, but the night promised anything but business. At the bar a man caught her attention, tall, confident, with that quiet kind of charisma that doesn't need words. His shirt was half unbuttoned, the glow of the amber lights reflecting on the sharp line of his jaw. When his eyes met hers, it felt like an electric current running through the room, sharp, instant, undeniable. He raised his glass slightly, a silent invitation. Maya hesitated for a moment before walking over. "Long day?" he asked, voice low, smooth. "Too long," she replied, letting a smile play on her lips. "And you, waiting for something interesting to happen," he said, eyes never leaving hers. Something about his tone made her pulse quicken. Their conversation flowed easily, teasing, playful, charged with unspoken attraction. Every glance, every brush of fingers over the glass, felt like a spark. The resort music softened to a slow rhythm. Couples began drifting toward the terrace, where the sea breeze carried the scent of salt and rain. He stood offering his hand. "Dance with me." Maya hesitated, then took it. His touch was warm, steady, and when he pulled her close, the world outside disappeared. Her head rested against his shoulder as the rhythm slowed. She could feel his breath near her ear, his heartbeat against hers. When the first drops of rain began to fall, he led her out onto the terrace. The sky broke open in silver streaks, but neither of them cared. They laughed, drenched, alive, free. His hands found her waist, her fingers slid up to his collar. "Maya," he murmured, her name like a promise. And before she could reply, his lips found her soft at first, then deeper, hungrier, as the rain fell around them like fire. The rain poured harder, drumming softly against the terrace floor, but neither of them moved away. Maya's fingers were tangled in his shirt, soaked through, clinging to him as if the storm outside was nothing compared to the one inside her. He pulled back slightly, eyes dark and steady on hers. "We should go inside," he murmured, his voice low, half question, half temptation. She nodded, breathless. The two slipped through the glass doors, water dripping from their hair and clothes, laughter still caught in their throats. The resort corridor was dimly lit, the hum of distant thunder echoing beyond the walls. He led her toward his suite, not pulling, not forcing, just that silent gravity that neither of them wanted to resist. When the door clicked shut behind them, the world grew quiet. Maya's dress clung to her like a second skin, rainwater tracing lines down her shoulders. He took a towel, gently brushing away the droplets from her arms, then from her neck. Every touch lingered, deliberate and slow. She looked up at him, her pulse racing, her lips parted as if caught between a word and a breath. "You don't have to stay," he said softly, but the way he looked at her said he wanted her to. "I know," she whispered, stepping closer, "but I want to." The next moment the distance vanished. His hands slid around her waist, her fingers trailed across his jaw. The kiss this time wasn't sudden, it was deep, searching, full of everything they hadn't said. The heat between them grew, blending with the sound of rain hitting the window, the dim golden light wrapping them in shadow. She felt the warmth of his skin, the strength beneath the softness of his touch. Every movement was careful, slow, not rushed, not wild, but burning with quiet fire. Time lost its meaning. The night became theirs a dance of breath and heartbeat, where every look, every sigh, every whisper felt infinite. Hours later, when the storm outside softened to a gentle drizzle, they lay side by side, the air thick with silence and warmth. He turned to her, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. You make it hard to remember this isn't a dream. Maya smiled faintly. Then don't wake up. Sunlight streamed through the thin white curtains, soft and golden, painting the room in a warm glow. The rain had stopped hours ago, leaving behind the faint scent of sea and salt. Maya stirred, her head resting lightly on his shoulder, her hair falling in soft waves across the sheets. For a moment she didn't move, just listened. The quiet rhythm of his heartbeat beneath her ear, the slow rise and fall of his chest. It felt unreal, too peaceful, too perfect. When she finally looked up, he was already awake, watching her. His smile was faint, sleepy, and impossibly gentle. "Morning," he said, voice low and rough. "Morning," she replied, stretching slightly. "Did we sleep at all?" He chuckled, fingers tracing lazy circles on her arm, a little, between the thunder and other distractions. She laughed softly, but there was something behind her smile, a flicker of awareness. The night had been spontaneous, wild, beautiful, but morning light has a way of asking questions that darkness lets you ignore. Maya sat up, wrapping the sheet around her. "I have a flight tonight," she said quietly. He nodded, sitting up beside her. "I figured. I don't want to make this complicated." "It already is," she said with a half smile. "Because I don't regret a single thing." He reached for her hand, pulling her closer once more. "Then don't. Maybe it's not about forever. Maybe some nights are just meant to happen so we remember what it feels like to be alive." His words sank deep. She leaned in and kissed him slow, tender, the kind of kiss that said good-bye without speaking it aloud. Later, when she left the room, the sun was higher, the air heavy with summer heat. She didn't look back, but as she stepped into the taxi, she could still feel the warmth of his hand, the echo of his voice, and the memory of a night that had burned like fire and ended in light.